All right, everybody. Episode 2. Some said it would never happen, Josh, but here we are. How you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling proven wrong because I was one of the ones that said episode 2 would never happen.
Damn. Yeah, if that's how you really feel. How's your day?
Oh, it was typical county work. Showed up, sat down behind a desk, looked at a computer screen, did some paperwork. Looked at a computer screen, did some paperwork. Um, Typical day. Read up on some interesting NFL news. Have you checked the headlines at all?
Not really. What do we got?
No. Well, on NFL.com right now, top headlines: players, NFL reps continue anthem policy talks. Don't want to get into it too much. It's a little too political for what we're going for.
You don't
Trump
want to
train.
have a MAGA, MAGA podcast?
No,
Trump 2020?
No. We'll say that for NPR. Turning to the players, we got Josh Gordon in the news. Not for what you'd think. He's not in trouble. They're aiming for him to be on the field for the Browns in week 1. That's unheard of for Josh Gordon. Usually it's week 14 after his suspension. But
right. I think didn't I read that he wasn't going to start week 1? Isn't that what Hugh Jackson said? He'd play, but he won't start or some bullshit like that?
Yeah, but Hugh Jackson also said that Baker Mayfield, the first overall pick in the draft, might be the third on the depth chart for quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, because Tyrod Taylor's fucking good.
Tyrod. Everybody's been saying his name wrong. Don't you watch Hard Knocks?
Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor. Yep, go on.
But who's the other quarterback? I don't know.
Drew Stanton, I believe. I should know. It's in my notes, but I'm not going to pull that up right now because I don't know how to navigate my Surface well enough to get back to where I am. But yeah, no, I mean, he's not going to start week 1. That's what they're saying. But if you play the second down of the first series, you're technically not a starter.
Correct, yeah.
So,
I mean, you have to be on the field for the first snap of the game to be a starter, Josh
exactly.
Gordon.
Josh Gordon is the best wide receiver on that team by a mile.
Jarvis Landry is pretty fucking good.
No, I'm not going to argue that Jarvis Landry is not good, but Josh Gordon is phenomenal. Just watch some of his tape. Last year, he came off the couch and put up 86 yards against the Chargers with Casey Hayward covering him. I don't think anybody else put up close to 75. Casey Hayward was locked down last year.
Sure. I guess I have no idea.
Yep. No, he is definitely one of my favorite players to watch, and I'm definitely rooting for him just because of the history he has, and he's had some off-the-field issues, and if you haven't had a chance to watch his documentary, Garlic, or even just his interview with some of the magazines he's done since coming out of rehab, worth a look. It's interesting, very phenomenal stuff. The dude he claimed he hadn't played a sober game throughout his professional career until last season.
That.
So and the fact that he put up his rookie year, he put up 1,400 yards in 12 games.
Sure.
1,200 yards in 14. It was ridiculous numbers. And if he was doing that while under the influence of something, holy cow.
Yeah.
4,000 yards in 16 games? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's good.
Oh,
yeah. I don't have a hard on for Josh Gordon quite like you do, Josh. So
I think it's the name. It's got to be the name. But then other news, other headlines. Beckham signs record-setting contract. I think it was 5 years, $93 million.
Was it official? Okay.
Something like that. The numbers came out this afternoon. I believe that's the numbers I'd seen.
Sure.
They showed a video of their locker room reacting to it, and really it's I'm just wondering how much the kicking net gets in that with their marriage from last.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've probably got to get a nice mill at least for sure.
Oh yeah. No, and if they ever split, his paycheck's gonna be cut in half because that kicking net's gonna demand some of that money.
Yep.
Raiders trade Ryan Switzer to the Steelers. He's a return man, a receiver. Not sure, that depth chart in Pittsburgh's pretty deep already with their receivers, so not sure if it's going to be more of the return game that they're aiming for. I think it was just for a pick. I didn't see what the Raiders necessarily gave up. Patriots extend Shaq Mason, $50 million extension for 5 years.
Yeah.
Locking down him for a while. A good addition to their offensive line. I called you this morning about Khalil Mack being in Detroit.
You sure did. I was kind of tired. It's Monday morning. I don't even remember much of what you said. I thought he was going to be a Packer. You were pretty big about how he's going to be a Packer. Why is it going to be a Lion instead?
No, he's and then so that's what I wanted to get to is I haven't updated you on this yet, but they did say that was false rumor. And that he
was fake news.
Fake news, Tom.
Alternative facts.
Yep. And so they did not bring him in to sign him. But instead, the Lions have inked heirs to a 1-year contract. He's a defensive end as well, so they're going to solidify their D-line with him. Well, I don't know about solidify, but add some depth.
Right.
I think
Put some players on the field.
Khalil Mack might be a little bit better than Ayers, from what I hear.
Sure.
Guy that you were pretty high on going into the year, or no, we discussed this. Marquise Lee, he's out, season-ending knee surgery. Sucks for him. Opens the doors for Keelan Cole, D.D. Westbrook.
Yep. Pretty much D.D. Westbrook and Dante Moncrief exclusively. None of those other receivers I think will even probably be on the field or get a catch.
Do you happen to know who the starter was alongside Marquise Lee?
Yeah, probably D.D. Westbrook if I had to put some money on it.
Doug Marone's in my back pocket. He said it was definitely Keelan Cole. So
can he fit in your back pocket?
Well, no, not since I got out of the skater phase.
Yeah.
Then there's some notes on Brady, hanging up on an interview because they were talking about his trainer, who's a quack job. Won't get into a whole bunch of that. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the headlines that's going on. Let's go back to Khalil Mack and the Packers if you want.
Josh, I don't think I want to. I think you want to, so you go for it.
Well, I'm just saying, Oakland and Khalil Mack are not on the same page right now, right? Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
This is a football podcast. What do you do with your free time? Work?
I produce the show. I take most of the notes. I got everything ready. I'm just here as a pretty face, Josh.
So here's what I'm hearing from Through the Grapevine, aka the radio, and other people who get paid to actually do this.
Sure.
Khalil Mack and the Raiders are not seeing eye to eye on contract extension, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And so he hasn't reported yet. We're already past week 3 of the preseason, getting into that final week. You'd hope that your star defensive player would be at camp.
Yeah, he's getting fined like $1 million a week or
he's
something
up to
like that.
He's up to like $863,000 total this preseason. Something
I
like
thought that was like per week. Or
is
like
it per
game.
week? I guess I didn't look too much into that.
Me neither. Can you not cough into the mic, please? Jesus.
Yeah, sorry, people. Well, sorry, one listener.
Yeah,
and so,
T. Just T. T and Brian cannot, funny enough.
Well, Jordan Bates, too.
Oh, that's right.
So we have 3 listeners.
Ooh, I really thought Derek and Willie would listen. As far as I know, I haven't even clicked on the link I sent them. Sons of bitches.
Well, 3 is halfway to double digits as far as my public education goes. So we'll say we made it.
Yeah,
and so
official.
With him not reporting to camp, they're not going to get anything out of him this year if they don't, come to terms with him on a contract extension. If they don't trade him, and so a lot of people are saying that they're slowly opening the doors for trade offers. Grant, the Packers are in those talks. Yes, I am a Packers fan, and yes, I would probably go 6 to midnight for the entire football season if it happened. But we will try to be logical with this show, and it is, there are other teams involved. The Chicago Bears were mentioned. The Jets were mentioned. The Jets definitely have the capital to do it. One of the teams that just crossed my mind, I don't know how they could possibly do it because they've already added everybody this offseason. But could you imagine Cleveland getting Khalil Mack right now?
I could imagine it, sure.
Myles Garrett on one side, Khalil Mack on the other.
Perfect.
That defense would be stacked. That's a 16-0 football team. 0-16 to 16-0. Could you see it?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
Hugh Jackson is their
Hugh
coach.
Jackson would coach them to 0-16 again with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and an all-star team. But yeah, so that's kind of what we have for news. Do you have anything to add? Have you heard anything through the grapevine? I know you're a Vikings fan. Any Purple Pride things showing through today?
So we traded, I don't know his name off the top of my head. We traded for a center pretty recently. Again, I don't remember his name. He played for the Giants. He is a Canadian native, so I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Oh, hey. Sorry, bud. Got to block you here.
Not scream into your mic either. God, we need to get you consistent. Can we, other podcast lessons? Are those a thing?
I could probably find some.
God. Ugh. All right. Anyways, so yeah, we got a Canadian center who can also play guard, which is good. So hopefully he can contribute in some way. It makes you question what Pat Elflein's future looks like. He's supposed to be our starting center. They're saying he's going to be ready for this regular season. You don't really know if that's going to be true or not. So just fingers crossed that this new guy is coming in to play guard and not center, but you don't know for sure. Other than that, I don't think we had any major injuries in week 3 that I can recall, or if we even had any injuries at all.
Other than Daniel Carlson's ego, right?
Oh, God. I remember, so I called it week 2, Kai Forbath misses that field goal off the goal post. I'm like, yep, I think I just watched his career end. Sure enough, he gets cut by the Vikings. T sends me a snapshot of it just to, prove to the world that I am indeed a football genius and not someone who has an IQ of just above 20. So yeah, Kai Forbath gets cut, and then Daniel Carlson goes on to miss 2 field goals.
Both from 42 yards, both wide left.
Wide left is just a Minnesota thing. Or is it a right-footed kicker thing? I don't know.
Right foot, probably. Pull it.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, and I guess, sorry, Mom, missed a phone call from you. And so,
Nini.
Packers made a trade as well this week. When you think defense, when you think inside linebacker, you think tough. And I know Ray Lewis killed 2 guys. We got a few other inside linebackers. Vontaze Burfict gets ejected from every game, it seems, or fined every game for hits.
Yep.
And now the Green Bay Packers add their bad boy on defense after trading Lindsey Pipkins, who was a 19th string corner on a defense that needed corners. But they traded him for inside linebacker Antonio Morrison. He got in trouble with the law. I know I sent you the article this morning. He got arrested in college.
Yep.
This is the kind of guy you want on your team for his record. Barking at a police dog. But that dog deserved it. That dog barked first.
Oh.
And I know Kaya barks at me. I'm for sure barking back.
That.
But yeah, so that's kind of the news that I got this week. And so I think maybe moving to the meat of the show, we spent enough time on that.
Sure. So we haven't really talked about what our meat of the show is going to be. Our meat of the show is going to be profiling all the owners in our Dynasty Football League. We're going to be talking a lot about the Dynasty Football League in our podcast this year. So we would like to kind of create the characters for you guys. We'd like you to get to know them a little bit. I figure most listeners of this podcast will already know these people pretty well. But just in case we get some strangers in here, or people who don't know the whole league very well, we'll definitely, like I said, kind of create those characters that we can go back and reference all year long. So, I mean, we don't really have an order here. Do you just want to kind of go back and forth through this list that we made up, or how do you want to go about this, Josh?
Well, I think we can just start at the top, and we can contribute when we see fit. It's not like we have to claim each one. We're not drafting people.
Well, okay. If I was drafting people, I would definitely. Never mind. I'm not going to say who I'd take or not. Go ahead, Josh. Lead us off.
So Garlic set this up in what he thinks is alphabetical order. So we'll start with Nate.
I did not. Okay, fuck off.
So Nate, longtime Hidden Oaks original. So he's been with us, I think, through everything when it comes to fantasy. Redraft league, dynasty league, and so Nate is known as the personal trader, not TRAITOR, but TRADER. If you have a player he wants, he's going to send you 6 or 7 different offers for that same player, with any combination of players. I think I have some of the stats here somewhere pulled up. In the first season, which was our inaugural season, was 2016. Nate had 10 trades and 42 ad drops.
Sounds about right.
That's actually a little light for him. In our redraft league, I think he's double that.
Probably.
And so year one, he took 4th with a 6-6-1 record. We didn't have the fractional scoring at that point, and so unfortunately we had quite a few ties all here. But 4th place, 6-6-1. So not too bad. Last year, quite a bit of an improvement, 11-2. 2nd seed, 3rd overall. I don't know. Did he ever talk to you about Kareem Hunt at all?
Who? I think you might have mentioned him once. Yeah, he talks about Kareem Hunt every fucking week, and it was honestly a little ridiculous. Josh, who did he trade with to get Kareem Hunt? Where did that trade come from?
He traded me, actually.
So you're the son of a bitch that makes it so Nate talked about Kareem Hunt every fucking week.
Well, when someone offers you Devontae Adams for pick 7, you take it.
Josh. I'm frustrated with you. But yeah, he has Kareem Hunt for sure.
So nice draft pick at 7th overall last year, rookie draft. He's also got Brandon Cooks, bounced around from team to team. He got him when he was on the Saints. He did okay in New England last year. Slow start, but I think he's going to do big things with the Rams this year. Demaryius Thomas, Tyreek Cohen. You spelled Tyreek garbage, by the way. I didn't know. And then Chris Carson. Grew up on Johnson Street. Oh, you have Trade Guru mentioned up.
Oh, of course I do, Josh. I take good notes. I know what I'm doing here. Jeez.
Big watch guy. Yes. No, I'm sorry, but if you work at a watch factory and you're listening to this podcast, Nate knows more than you. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Nate loves his watch. I really don't know where his fantasization. That's not a word. I don't know where he got his love for watches. I'm not going to try and say fantasization because that's not a word. And I can't think right now. It's fucking Monday, okay? I don't need your sass. But yeah, guy loves his watches. And the last note I wrote was that Nate loves him some fucking basketball. For a short dude who we've always made fun of for being a Mexican, he's incredibly good at basketball. I don't know. Where do you think that comes from, Josh?
Years and years of playing in the front yard. Definitely. Yeah, no, past dark, getting our little spotlights out so we could see in the driveways. He learned a lot of his shots probably trying to go up against guys my size, 6 inches taller than him growing up.
Sure.
Not 6 inches taller than him now, by the way. And so he definitely learned that reverse layup from there. He's definitely one of the first picks I'd have in hood basketball.
Oh yeah, Nate's so it depends on who's available, but Nate or Derek would certainly be.
Derek for that long range.
Oh dude, Derek's fucking good at basketball. Another guy you wouldn't think would be good at basketball. And Derek is skinny now, so I can say this, but Derek used to be a more hefty guy, and that guy can shoot. But we'll talk about Derek more in a second here. Josh, do you have anything more to add about Nate? Because there's a little sound clip I want to play just exclusively for Nate, but I want to do it kind of like at the end.
Go right ahead.
All right, Nate, this one's for you, buddy.
Is it always like this with the TV cameras and the people and stuff?
Oh, yeah, a lot of pressure. You got to rise above it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow happy. Feel it. It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the quarter, you get on the horse. It goes up and down and around. Circular, circle, with the music, the flow. All good things.
Yeah, all right. Well, great. Thanks a lot. Nice to meet you, man. Psycho.
Sorry, that clip was a little long, but it was funny. Josh, I think what's happening is your headphone is getting too close to your mic sometimes, so there's a little bit of microphone interference. I don't know. I'll try and monitor it the best I can. For those of you listening, I apologize if that was really loud in your ear. I can hear the show as it happens. I don't think it was that loud, but I guess I'll find out when I listen back to it. Anyways, so yep, Nate, you got to feel that flow, man. Circular. Next up, we got Willie. Josh, what do we know about Willie?
Willie is Derek's older brother. Year one, 6-6-1. See a trend there. That's second 6-6-1 out of 2 people. But he took 6th just because points for, points against, that sort of thing kind of factored into that first year. Last year, he regressed a little, 5-8, took 8th place. More points for than the 4th seed, but he had too many points against. So it kind of, took him out last year. Notables on his team, Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon, top 20 wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins.
Top 20. Thank you, Jalen.
Yep. Thank you for that insight. Thanks for the money as well. He's got Sammy Watkins, Jarvis Landry, Jerick McKinnon, Derrick Henry, Alex Collins, Lamar Jackson. Nice solid roster. Young guys on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, you can go take it from here on your notes.
Yeah, so I wrote that, so this won't make really any sense to anyone that didn't live in our neighborhood, but Willie is one of the guy who lived, quote-unquote, up the hill. So those are hidden oaks, like core group, and then if you went down a couple different streets, took a couple lefts, couple rights, you'd go up a hill, and you would find Willie and Derek's house, their childhood home up there. So that's where the up the hill reference comes from. Back when we were kids, we always thought that the up the hill people were dirty and scary, and Josh, I'm sure you can back me up on this. There are some sketchy fucking people who lived up the hill.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, some of the sketchiest people you ever meet lived up that hill. But yeah, no, it was a lot like East Side West Side type rivalry. Tupac, Biggie. It was close to that level of rivalry there.
Sure. So yep, Willie lived up the hill. So we grew up pretty close together. But I do want to show that separation. Willie and Derek aren't quite as good as us, obviously. He's engaged. Shout out to Willie. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Willie.
He very recently got engaged to his future wife. Performing his wedding. So again, I don't know why he would make that decision. I don't know why he wants to ruin a once in a lifetime opportunity, but thank you, Willie. I get to perform your marriage. Willie's sexy. I wrote that down. He's a karaoke master. The guy will sing Ice Ice Baby like
Did it
no
at
other.
my bachelor party.
You're right. He sure did. And he was dropping panties that night. If he didn't have a girlfriend, he was taking some bitch back with him. I swear to God.
All of them.
Probably all of them. He and his brother are both kind of like sports stats savants. And there was a point in time where him and his brother were going to do a podcast, a sports podcast. And they probably would have done a way fucking better job than we do. At least, I don't know.
A lot more research put into it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but what I mean by savant is that guy could tell you probably anyone's stats line, their college stats, where their hometown was, what their favorite breakfast is, kind of how many calories a day they eat. I mean, any stat about any player in any sport. Derek and Willie were both kind of on top of that.
And if we're going to get into that kind of talk, little known fact about Nate Nielsen, guy we just talked about before, Willie.
Yep.
He could quote every single baseball card in his collection, the stats for every single year.
Yep. Hold on, Josh. You sound really bad right now. What's happening?
I don't know.
Something's fucked up.
Check.
Yep. No, it still sounds bad. Do I sound funny in your ear?
Oh, hang on.
Why the fuck? Okay. Well, I guess we'll pause here.
Check.
Record. Okay, so we're back. We just had a really weird technical issue. The sound just turned to shit for some reason, like literal shit. Josh, you saw the South Park episode about Stan when he was like cynical?
I don't believe I saw that one.
Oh, well, I think it's kind of a series of episodes. Nate will know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's like Stan turns cynical, and everything, unless he's drunk, everything he hears out of everyone's mouth is just like a farting noise, like that's how we sounded. And that's probably going to sound terrible on the mic, but yeah, that was weird. Anyways, so we're talking about Nate Nielsen and something, but it got cut off.
Sports star savant.
Okay.
As far as you were talking about Willie being a savant with sports stats,
Yep.
Nate was the same way with baseball. Every single stat could tell you home runs, average, strikeouts, stolen bases, hot dogs eaten, sunflower seed spit, the works.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to share that with you. But as far as my additions for Willie, yeah, sports stat savant. Always nice to get into some conversation with him. He's one of those big-time Vikings fans, though, so he's a little brainwashed with that.
Oh, fucking dare you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hold it against you guys, though. And so, but yeah, he's. I think that's a good transition into his younger brother, Derek, don't you?
Yeah, Derek, beautiful guy. Year 1, 8-5 was his record. He came into the playoffs as nope, never mind. I didn't put his seed. He finished second. He was in the championship game. He played Jordan in that and lost to Jordan. Year 2, he was 7-6, so pretty similar finish. He was the 6th seed, so he snuck into the playoffs there as the last spot. But he ended up coming in 6th, so must have lost his first game. I don't know. 5th and 6th don't play a second game, so he just must have had less points for or something. I don't know how those tiebreakers work out. But he finished in 6th, as that's what Flea Flicker told me. So the notables on his team, his dynasty team, would be Jordan Howard, Devonta Freeman, Odell Beckham Jr. I put down the note here that in the first ever draft for this dynasty league, Derek drafted 3rd, I think, and he took OBJ, or he drafted before me. I drafted 4th. And Derek took OBJ at whatever, 1, 2, or 3. And then I drafted 4th and took Todd Gurley. And probably 8 times a year, Derek will offer me a trade, OBJ for Todd Gurley. I'm like, motherfucker, you could have drafted Todd Gurley, and you didn't. So I don't know. I put down that note. But yeah, so also Michael Thomas, Marvin Jones, Isaiah Crowell, Tevin Coleman, Duke Johnson, Sanu, and Calvin Ridley he drafted this year. So a lot of talent on that team. I might have been a little more generous with my notes on notable players. Some of those guys you might argue are more middle of the pack.
Isaiah Crowell can just take him off the list as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. Whatever. Yeah. So Derek also, like I was talking about his brother Willie, Derek lived up the hill. So same situation there. He grew up with some sketchy people, but hold on. Going back to our childhood for a second here, Josh. Do you know who technically invented Green Booger?
I would have to say it was Derek. Derek
Was
and
it
Willie.
Derek? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they invented it or if they inherited it from like an Alex Simpson or a Cameron or someone like that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Derek and Willie. We'd have to confirm with them, but I'm going to give them credit until I get proven otherwise.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's a good philosophy. So yeah, sorry, random childhood tangent there, but a really fun game we played as kids was Green Booger. So anyways, he lived up the hill. Derek is the one who gave me the nickname Garlic, and it's my goal to never use my real name in this podcast, so hopefully everyone always refers to me as Garlic. He's my movie date, Garlic and I. Josh did call it. Sorry, inside joke. He's my movie date. Derek and I would always head up to the show place when he lived in Coon Rapids, and hopefully we can still catch some movies together here. We love the Marvel Cinematic Universe and junk like that. Derek made one of my favorite moments ever in life, Josh. I don't know if you were there. It was a sleepover at Derek's house in his parents' place up the hill. It was just some sleepover event. And for anyone who doesn't know, Derek's parents are deaf. And Josh got a big ass grin on his face. I think he knows what I'm talking about. So it's probably like 11 o'clock at night, if not midnight. And we're all going upstairs to like make some pizza or some pizza rolls or something. Because we were in the basement hanging out. And Derek's mom is sleeping on the couch. And so we all walk up the stairs. And Derek goes up behind his sleeping mom on the couch and just yells, "Wake up!" Or, something like that. He yelled something really loud, and obviously his mom didn't wake up because she's deaf, but probably one of the funniest things of my life. I fucking cracked up every time I think about it to this day. Fucking hilarious to me. And now that I retell it, I could see why other people wouldn't laugh, but being there in that moment, probably top 3 funniest moments of my life.
I heard that story more than once in my life, and that is a great story. And I'm going to go on and I'm going to add a story that happened at Derek's house, because a lot of times that's where sleepovers would happen, because we could be up later and be a little bit louder. And I'm just going to say 2 words, and I think you're going to laugh. Golden wheat.
Oh, God. Yep. Golden wheat.
That's another one in Derek's basement. I believe we were watching Harold and Kumar, or we were getting ready to watch Harold and Kumar, something like that. And there was a commercial for Bud Light Golden Wheat. And some gangle in the back of the room, "That's my favorite beer." And I think he was, 14 at the time?
Sure.
15? I don't know. Brad, big shout out to you. We know you never tasted golden wheat at that time, but it's always funny to bring up.
No doubt. Yeah. So my only other note here for Derek was that he's also a sports stats savant, just like his brother. So Derek and Willie, both very stand-up dudes, very awesome. They both used to be a little heftier, but now are fucking swole as shit and could kick my ass with their pinky. It's pretty impressive. I don't really have much else to say about them. Love them both. I've performed the marriage for Derek's sister. As long as things go well, I will perform the marriage for Willie, and hopefully someday I can complete the hat trick and perform Derek's wedding. So yeah, we'll move on to Connor here. In our league, Connor would probably be our original out-of-towner. Connor started the league with us in year 1. He was 6-7, so kind of garbage. In year 2, he was 7-6, so only improved his record by 1. But he snuck into the playoffs at the 5th seed, and he ended up in the championship game. Josh, do you know who he lost to in the championship game by chance?
Garrett, actually, who we'll get to later. And yeah, so some notables on his team: Andrew Luck, who didn't play at all last year, but he's predicted to be back this year. Although I did see a headline today saying that he suffered a foot injury. Hopefully that's minor, because the Colts without Andrew Luck are no different than a high school girls touch football team. And then he's also got Zeke, McCaffrey, AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Josh Gordon, Nick Chubb, Kyle Rudolph, Mark Ingram, and then the 3rd best defense in the NFL, the Packers D.
God, disgusting.
Third worst. Sorry, talking's hard.
Yep.
But yeah, he's a last out of towner. Give him props. Always fun to talk to him. I love sending him bad trade offers because his reactions are always priceless. He'll call you out on it. So I apologize for trying to trade for Josh Gordon a couple times and not realizing that you know what you're doing. And so props to him for sticking around. I hope he stays around. He's fun to talk to. He's the one that called Jalen out on the DeAndre Hopkins in the top 20. Love it. And so, I mean, his team is good. I'm looking at the players that you highlighted here, and then I'm jealous of some of the players he's got there.
It's probably specifically Josh Gordon. That's probably
well, Josh Gordon, McCaffrey, Packers defense. That's 11 guys, by the way.
Oh, is it?
On defense, yep.
Holy shit, that's impressive.
And so, and he's, I mean, I see the note here. He paid $60, which is, it may not seem like a lot since $30 is the league dues, but in our group of friends, paying on time is like being Jesus, the second coming. It's a good thing. And yeah, he's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know what else to say about Connor. I don't know him too well on a personal level. Like I said, he's kind of the out-of-towner. When we're talking like the league references, anyone who has watched this hopefully would understand the league reference, famous TV show about fantasy football.
I wouldn't say famous. It's a TV show about football.
Famous as dicks, Josh. Probably the #1 rated football show to ever exist. That's not true. But anyways, he always refers to himself as Ted, or he kind of self-identifies as Ted, which if anyone has never watched the league, Ted is he's kind of a good-looking guy, pretty fit guy, lived in LA, but he died of AIDS in the show. So, I mean, if that's the future that Connor wants, good for him. But yeah, I don't know. That's all
I'll take care of your players for you, bud.
Josh will he'll adopt them.
Yeah, so we can moving on from Connor there, we got Jesse and Hammer, who with this situation right now, Jesse's off at basic training. Good luck there, bud. I know I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you. I had a busy schedule that weekend, and so really bummed out I missed on that, but wish you the best of luck there. And so his soon-to-be brother-in-law, Andrew Hammer, is taking over, and so I think that we need to come up with a kind of a celebrity couple name for them. A couple of them coming off the top of my head.
Jammer.
Sure. Jammer is the one that I thought of this morning in the shower.
On the shower. Were you standing on top of your shower?
Well, no. I mean, I was going to say on the toilet, but it was in the shower. And so year one, he went 8-2-3. He had 3 ties, and I remember laughing at him at the time, but it was good enough to get him third place. And year 2, 6-7, so he regressed a little bit. I think Rogetown going down with an injury had a lot to do with that.
Oh, yeah, that'll kill a team for sure.
But he had more points for than the 4th and the 6th seed, but he had too many points against this last year. And so some of his notable players are Rogetown, Le'Veon Bell, Rashad Penny, Doug Baldwin, Adam Thielen, Carson Wentz. He's an OG Hood member. He moved into the house next to me in the Hood. And I'm looking at some of your other notes. Generally goofy. He's a hick. Could be brothers with Hammer, and he's going to be.
No. It's that it could be brothers with me, because Jesse and I are both blonde, and people tell us that a lot.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess I could see that as well. And so, yeah. What do you have on Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, I made these notes here, so yep, he's generally pretty hickish. God, your mic keeps making this weird fucking buzzing noise every once in a while, and I hope it doesn't ruin the show. Sorry, random tangent. Yeah, Jesse's a hick dude, lovely guy, currently serving his country. He's off at basic training, so good for him. So he's written some letters back to his mom. Apparently he's having who'd have thunk that basic training wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Apparently he's having a little bit more of a rough time of it than not, but what, is Kaya trying to invade or what?
Kaya's trying to dig her way into the basement so she can be on the podcast. He wants to say, "Hi, T, you're greasy."
Yeah, Kaya is Josh's dog. But yep, no, really nothing else on Jesse. Lovely dude, love him a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Good for him for being in the serving his country in the armed forces. On to Hammer then, who kind of took over his team for the season, and I'm kind of hoping we can find a permanent home for Hammer next season, whether that's taking over a team or just staying on as Jesse's co-owner, who knows. But Hammer's my boo. Hammer and I know I mentioned that Willie is great at karaoke. Hammer would be my karaoke partner. We sing Fish in the Dark and Friends in Low Places. We've sang that a couple times in back-to-back nights, and we definitely shut down the VFW, probably the most famous spot there in Minnesota.
All 6 people in attendance were clapping.
Dude, you better fucking believe all 6 people were clapping, okay? But so yeah, no, he's my karaoke partner. He was my biggest fan of the Fantasy Football Weekly Recap, which is a YouTube video I used to make. It's probably still on YouTube if anyone wants to search for it. But he was the biggest fan of that, probably the only one who viewed it every week. He's marrying Jesse's sister. That's why we kind of talked about how he's a future brother-in-law there. He's kind of an unknown to the league. We don't know if he's going to be really good at fantasy football, really bad. He's in a redraft league, and he's done okay there. He actually won a redraft league last year. I don't know if you knew that or not. So we're really kind of curious how he's going to perform in this fantasy league. He might rock our world. He might suck. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I've actually known Andrew Hammer the longest out of this group of friends.
Sure.
Met him my freshman year of college. Good friends with a couple of my drinking buddies, and so him and I spent quite a few times trying to make memories and then forgetting those memories while in school.
Sure.
And so,
why were you forgetful, Josh? What were you doing?
Oh, I've just concussions from studying so hard and hitting my head against the books. But yeah, no, it was one of the stories, and I'm sure it's not Andrew's favorite story, and I apologize for sharing it with you if you didn't want this aired out. But
too late.
Yeah, too late. Ross Leffler and Andrew were roommates, and Ross and I went out one night, and Andrew wasn't feeling well, wanted to stay in, so he stayed inside, and Ross and I went back to their dorm room, and we had a couple beverages of the adult nature and found a garbage can in their room. And while Andrew was trying to sleep, we decided to just throw a bunch of garbage on him. We were assholes, not going to lie. And I apologize for cursing, by the way. And so we...
Do not apologize for cursing, Josh.
We threw garbage at him for a while and ended up falling asleep on the floor and waking up to Andrew covered in garbage going, "You guys threw garbage at me for like an hour last night." So if I never said sorry then, I'm not going to say sorry now because it was hilarious. But yeah, fun fact also, this isn't going to make it into the wedding, and it's a travesty it doesn't, but the story of how him and Jamie met was at a house party at my house, small gathering. As the night was winding down, they had kicked it off, and there was an entire 3-person couch, beautiful couch, Nini's couch, that had gotten adopted by the Duluth household. And Andrew and Jamie decided to not use the couch that was open, but the couch's armrest as a makeout location.
Perfect.
Ruining a perfectly good armrest and defiling that couch. That's why I left it in Duluth. I think I sold it for $20 and a pack of sausage. But yeah, so Andrew, welcome to the league. Like Garlic said, I hope you could stick around. Hope we can find you a home. Next up, we got Garrett, introduced to the league by Jesse. Skipping over Garrett, we'll go. I'm just kidding, Garrett.
How fucking dare you? That is my co-owner. Garrett is fucking co-champion right now. You will not skip him over. You will give him the respect he is due as your champion.
Garrett joined us year 2 when Garlic realized he was absolute trash at Dynasty Football and took last place. And so Garrett helped lead Garlic's team to an 8-5 record, 3rd seed, and then the eventual championship. They had the second most points for. I don't know who they lost to. Yes, I do. It was me. Their team consists of Brady, Gurley, Keenan Allen, Larry Fitz, Zach Ertz, Jordan Reed, Jags, and Adrian Dieterson. He's Jesse's friend, so Jesse introduced Garrett to this. He actually got introduced through a Madden league, which was kind of a hit at one point. Not sure what happened there. He's a blonde bombshell, total babe. Madden rival. I believe he lost in a Madden championship to someone when I think you were told to take a knee, right?
Yeah, someone might have told him to just take a knee and run up the clock and then kick a field goal, but I believe his exact quote was, "I ain't no bitch," or "I ain't no pussy," or something along those lines.
Something along those lines, and I believe it was a halfback dive up the middle that resulted in a forced fumble return for a touchdown to give none other than yours truly, Josh Mitchell, the championship. So I owe you for that one. I owe you for that one, Garrett. I'm the only 2-time Madden champ in that league. Anything else to add?
Nope. I like Garrett a lot. I brought him in as my co-owner for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's a fun dude.
Yeah, like I said, I think kind of one of my big thoughts was I just wanted him to be more involved with the group. Because I think, our Madden League was pretty much in turmoil the whole time we had a Madden League. But This was the way I wanted him to kind of be wrapped up in the group and kind of have him be more involved in case the Madden League did dissolve. I wanted him to stick around and be part of our group of friends because I like Garrett a lot. Good dude, high quality dude. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about him other than Garrett, I love you. We're co-champs. Let's go back to back here and get this pot. Josh, okay. Josh is telling me just to stall here or keep going. He's looking for a soundbite, I think. So I guess I'll just move on to Kevin. Kevin Brown is one of the new additions to the league this year. The team he inherited went 1-12 last year. The fact that he took over the team is a fucking miracle. I think we touched on it last week. But there were probably at least 6 players on that team that weren't even in the NFL anymore this year. I think his starting quarterback was Carson Palmer, which is fucking scary. So yeah, I don't know. Josh, you look like you're ready here. Have you found the sound clip you're looking for? All right, Josh is you do your thing.
The winds of shit are in the air.
God damn it.
That's the only way to describe his team, is it not?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
No, and just for that reason, I have to give him a round of applause because
absolutely.
If I were to have looked at that roster, I might have laughed myself into a coma because, like you said, 6 guys no longer on a roster. Does he even have any highlighted players? Cam Newton, Sony Michel. I mean, he's got Jordy Nelson, who's on the good side of 40, and Julian Edelman, who's suspended the first 4 games. Evan Ingram, who's the only pass catcher last year in New York, because all 6 wide receivers went down with injuries. Peyton Barber, who's actually going to be the starter in Tampa.
Yeah, it's a flash in the pan. It won't last, I promise.
Chiefs defense might be his best scoring, most consistent if they pull their heads out of their asses this preseason. But yeah, he's one of Jesse's friends.
Oh, Josh, you skipped the most important player. He has the rookie on his team.
Oh yeah, no, the rookie, Sony Michel.
No, the rookie, Brandon LaFell. Come on, Josh. Jesus. God. Not a lot of people won't get that. It's an inside joke for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got Cam Newton, who's still a young quarterback, but he's on the Panthers, so it's alternating years. Every even year is going to be bad, but every odd year is going to be good. So prep for the odd years. And I might have had those backwards. But he is a cool dude, getting his master's in something or another. I see, man of God. I believe he's going to Northwest.
Yeah, I believe it's
Northwestern. Because him and I scrimmaged when I was at Hamlin playing football there. He came over once for a barbecue. Good guy. Loved his grilled meats. I think he had 6 or 7 hamburgers and brats total, which I have to give him props on. Ganj.
He's a fan of the Ganj. Him and Mary Jane are good friends, I believe. That's self-proclaimed. I'm not judging this guy. He talks about it.
The devil's lettuce, as we call it around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
But no, nothing against that. But I just saw Garlic had a note on that. Don't know why that's worth bringing up.
You know what, Josh? I'm trying to fill some space here. I want to take some notes, and that's just what came to my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin, we might hear from Kevin at some point in this show or a later one. We haven't decided quite yet. And so we'll let him speak for himself, kind of defend his case, since he is going to be one of those guys who not many people know about in our group of friends, since we've known each other for so long. But so we'll move on to the next newbie to this league, none other than T. Took over a team who was 8-5, fourth seed last year, finishing 5th. Only has 4 noted players: Dalvin, Royce, Julio, and Juju.
What the fuck?
T is a goofy bastard. He's Xbox Live buddy. Wants to be a cop just because he's greasy. And the reason he's greasy is because he is swiper no swiping. He is trying to steal my dog, and I have to be on alert every hour of every day.
Yeah, for sure. He wants that fucking dog, Josh. He wants it bad. I mean, you gotta give him props. He's picking a good dog. I think your dog is an excellent dog, so I would probably want to steal Kaya too.
As Garlic said that, Kai is digging at the carpet outside the door, being a little butt. So
well,
I'm gonna
that's
have to.
You closed
I
the
might
door.
just give her away.
Yeah. So yep, T's my cousin. I don't know if Josh touched on that. He got kind of some of our league mates were leaving. So I was like, hey, T, you want a spot on the team? He kind of came into the group here within last year, started playing Xbox with us. I added him to a very active Snapchat group chat thing that's kind of has got a lot of our league mates in it. So he's just kind of coming to the group a lot. So I figured why not include him in the league since he's already good friends with us. Yeah, and the only other note here I have is that me and T like to communicate in memes a lot, so I know that's not anything special to say in the year 2018, but shout out to T. He'll listen to this, so send me some memes. Send me some dank, spicy memes, please.
Yep, and I'm gonna go off the rails here. Not, I guess I don't even know the right expression for this, but T took over. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. T took over Nick's team, and so we'll do Nick. I'm gonna do Nick's quick profile here, and just say he likes to abandon things. 9th place first year, 4th seed, 5th place overall last year. There's Nick's profile.
That's all and that's more than he deserves.
That's more communication than he had with us the entire time he was in the league. He's a nice guy when he came over for the initial rookie draft. Other than that, I think I heard him say 6 words. And so Kevin took over Ryan's team, correct? No, Kevin took over Jordan's team.
Yep.
And so we'll get into Jordan a little bit later. We'll hold off on him. But then we'll jump from T into Jalen. Is that fine now?
Yeah, it's Jalen is official. He's been invited to league. He paid me $30. He is good to go. I almost got him to prepay for next year. Tried to get him to pay me $60. He went bite on it, but he's paid for this year, so he's in.
Okay, and I'm looking at some of the notables here. He's actually got a decent roster, despite taking over a team that went 1-12 last year. I think it was more of a tank mode in the last few weeks, something that we might have to address in future rule making sessions.
I just think Ryan, the previous owner, just never set a lineup. Would be my guess.
Yep, and I mean his schedule was pretty busy. I know he had quite a few things going on weekends when we tried to schedule times to get together for games and stuff. But he has Saquon. He drafted Saquon with the 1st overall. He has Joe Mixon, guy who I'm really high on this year, Mike Evans, Stefan Diggs, Allen Robinson, who's joining a new team with a new quarterback, so we'll see how that does. Probably just as accurate as Blake Bortles.
If not more.
He's got Gronk, Beast Mode, who's 95 years old, The Boat, that is Blake Bortles, for all of you who don't know. DeMarco, didn't he retire?
Yeah, I don't know if he's officially retired or not, but he's on his roster and he's really good, so I don't know. Or he used to be pretty good.
Okay. And then Martavis Bryant, who might not even make the Raiders roster.
Really?
And so I like how you included those last two. But yeah, so Jalen took over that. My biggest concern is that he finds a stool high enough to reach his computer to set his lineups. And
yeah.
But we met him through Jordan. He was one of Jordan's military buddies. He was in our Madden league. I'm looking at your next note here. Can you read that for me, please?
My next note. Oh, he's loud as shit. He always got the reputation of being very loud and very abrasive. He definitely got some people in our Mad League to not like him very much because he was so loud and abrasive. I always liked Jalen. That's kind of the reason I invited him into this league. Despite what people want to say, Jalen was always on top of everything. Like I said, we've talked about it a lot already, but we had an organized Mad League. And Jalen always played his games. He's always a great communicator. So, I mean, it seems like a good person to have in the league.
What's Jalen's brother's name?
Colby.
And Colby was the younger brother, right?
Correct.
So he was the one that I was always trash talking. He was 12.
Dude, you would tear that kid apart. Colby was like a 12-year-old in our Mad League. And Josh, at that time, you were what, 23, 24?
I don't know, somewhere around there.
And you would tear this kid 10 years younger than you apart. I'd never understood it.
He was 15 or 16. He could drive.
No, he could not.
Oh, well, I don't even know. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, so welcome to the league, Jalen. Happy to have you. You're a trash talker, but so far your knowledge of players who are not on MUT squads is pretty lacking. If you think DeAndre Hopkins is not a top 3 wide receiver,
top 20.
Well, I mean top 20, top 3. I mean top 3 falls in the top 20.
Sure?
Maybe. And so welcome to the league. Can't wait to trash talk you, especially since you're a Bears fan. I probably shouldn't trash talk you. You've been through enough the last few years.
Oh, dude, the Bears have had a rough go of it.
Yeah, and so the best thing to come out of that organization was the Chris Farley skit from the mid '90s. So
Bears. We should try and find that sound clip, and then we could make fun of Jalen with it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a note on here of him being super short. I don't know how short he actually is, but I know that that's a running joke in this
Yeah.
group.
Oh, he's short as shit. Yeah, if you added him on Facebook, he'd be short as shit. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you have anything else to say about Jalen. It sounded like you were wrapping up. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
no, I was wrapping that up.
Yeah, so then I'll move on to Ryan. So I know we constantly shit on Jordan's former Dynasty team, but actually Jordan did not come in last place last year on the technical level. Jordan came in 9th, and Ryan's team, who Jalen took over for, the Ryan's team is the one who came in 10th. I'm guessing Ryan and Jordan played at some point, and Jordan won that game, so that's why Jordan came in 9th. They had a tiebreaker there with a tied record of 1-12. So again, I didn't really make any notes about Ryan. We met him through Jordan. I hung out with him in person a couple times. He's a cool dude. Like when him and all his buddies came out to the rookie draft, they were cool. I know I hung out with him at Jordan's old apartment a couple times. He was a cool dude. I don't know. He just got disinterested in fantasy football, I guess. I feel like, I don't know if he gave his Xbox to someone else. I see him on Xbox all the time playing Madden, so he still got the love for the game for sure. I guess, I don't know. It's kind of tough because Ryan never really ran in our circle of friends, so eventually when those out-of-towners kind of, I don't know, grow up or whatever, it can get difficult, but...
Yeah, no, I hold nothing against Ryan. I mean, he communicated when he could. He definitely texted and when we asked him to. And the fact that life got in the way it's unfortunate, but it happens. We understand that, and not running in the same circle as us makes it tough. Granted, him and Connor and Nick all kind of ran, as far as I know, in the same circle. I know him and Connor did.
Yep,
for the
him,
most
Connor,
part.
and Nick, I think we're all in the same
Yeah,
group of
and
friends.
so it's understandable once one leaves, the other one leaves, and Connor, if he sticks around, great. If not, we understand. But I'm rooting for you to stick around because, like I said in your little review, you're hilarious, and so hopefully I can get Josh Gordon off you still.
You never will.
All right. We already talked about Nick. We'll abandon his profile like he abandoned us, and then we'll move on to Jordan. Jordan is someone who we met through Nate, and actually I think I knew Jordan before Nate.
You might have. I don't know. They met in ODA, right?
I believe it was ODA, but then him and I had a class when I was a senior in school, and it was Honors Biology 2. We dissected a cat.
Were
And
you guys in the same group when you say we dissected the
we,
cat?
we were not in the same group, but we talked a lot. And I just remember him laughing because I laughed at him and he laughed at me because he would walk in with 5 minutes left in class because he either overslept, missed the bus, something or another.
Oh, so this was first period then? Or?
Yep, and
Okay.
and I would be sleeping because I was still tired.
So
and
you showed up, but you slept in class, whereas he just
yeah,
slept. He just slept at
I
home.
showed up some days. But yeah, we had some good stories from there, and so that's kind of where we met. Never really talked more than that, but definitely your note on here is we met through Nate. Hood adjacent, which I'm just going to assume is we adopted him in through the Make-A-Wish Foundation to be part of the Hood.
Correct. Yeah. Some Hood members are more proud than others. Obviously, Jordan didn't grow up in the Hood, but if there was something other than Nikita who married into the Hood, Jordan would definitely be the next closest thing to being Hood, but not being Hood, if that makes sense. Like he wasn't born, he didn't grow up with us, but he's been part of the group for a long time. Been pretty close with most of us.
I would say Hammer's Hood adjacent as well.
Sure. And eventually he'll marry in, but yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, Jordan, you just have to marry in. And so looking at our group of friends, Bradley single, Garlic single.
Hey, buddy.
So you got that going for you. I won't suggest any of Nate's younger sisters because he'd kill you. But yeah, other than that, start copping feels on Garlic here. Big wrestling guy. Never understood that. It's fake news, Tom. Just so you know, if you weren't aware.
Are you saying the WWE is fake? Are you fucking kidding me right now, Josh? The WWE is fucking real as it fucking gets, okay?
Watch your
God.
language, please.
Fuck. Hi, Brian Knupp. Fuck.
Sorry, Brian. I apologize for
Oh,
Garlic.
God. It's doing it again. Oh, never mind.
But yeah, so he's
Stop. It is doing it again. Why is this a thing? It's actually annoying. All right, so the third time recording here. Hopefully, we ran over an hour the first time, and this never happened once. I'm really curious what's happening this time.
Yeah. So hopefully it's because we're doing so well. It needs to break up the funk. But continuing with Jordan, he's big into weightlifting. Something that started once he went to Guantanamo Bay, not as an inmate.
Allegedly, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I guess we don't know 100% into that. Top secret military business though. Theclub13.net. A little plug for his website there if you're looking for
absolutely.
some personal training information.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, that's theclub13.net. Got some pretty sweet gear. He was always the I don't see it on your notes here, but he was always the t-shirt guy.
Oh, big on the merchandise. Yeah, the swag and general.
Yep,
T-shirts
no.
was the big one, but hats. I believe he's got it on his website. He's got hoodies. I believe he has pants these days. He's all about that swag, dude. Go and get yourself some Club 13 swag at theclub13.net.
Yeah, and so not going to talk about his girlfriend because that's rude. Nice girl. Met her a couple times.
The note I wrote is that she's super hot, by the way, just for the record.
So, but yeah, so she's nice. Like her a lot. Has ups and downs with the group, as do we all, though. Something that happens when we have strong personalities. I believe our group is very strong personality when it comes down to it. Year one champ. I'm sorry. Year one champ, but year two, 9th place. So he took the high road, or he took that route to sold his soul to the devil, or the fantasy football gods, for that season 1 victory, but then just kind of collapsed in the year 2. Miracle Kevin took the team. We already talked about that, though. And so, yeah, that's Jordan's profile there. I think 6-6-1 year 1. He was a champ. 1-12, 9th place last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty tough to go 1-12 and come in 9th place, but he did it. The next player profile here is Josh. Probably doesn't make sense for Josh to do his own player profile, so I'll do most of it, and then he can add something if he wants. Year 1, he went 5-8, I guess, kind of a chump. He came in, I guess I didn't write what place. Oh, he came in 8th, sorry. Came in 8th the first year at 5-8. Year 2, he was 11-2, coming into the playoffs as the hot seed. You know, Josh thought he was this, that, and another thing. You know, he thought he was pretty fucking great. I think the sound clip will work. If not,
I was checking the
oh fuck, nope, that's the wrong sound clip.
on the end line for the rotary.
Josh, you're not. Yep. All right, I tried. That was supposed to be the I Piss Excellent sound clip, but I clicked the wrong one. I change around the soundboard a lot, and it's kind of fucky these days. We'll have to relearn it. But so yeah. He had the most points for last year, like Josh likes to talk about a lot. He had a dominant team. He went 11-2. But Josh just, I don't know, your team just fell apart, just couldn't perform in the playoff weeks. I guess I'm not sure what else to say about it. Solid team, just couldn't get it done when it counted.
Yeah, so you didn't read off the players, and so I have
yet.
David Johnson, Alvin Kamara. I don't know if you've heard of him, Garlic.
You won't shut up about, just like Nate would not shut up about Kareem Hunt, you would not shut up about Alvin Kamara last year.
Antonio Brown, he was my first round draft pick, by the way. Devonta Adams, who I traded for, from Nate. Chris Hogan, Deshaun Watson, Hunter Henry.
Josh, did you know
Real
that
simple, son. Cops are coming.
Did you click
There's
that on
a
purpose?
kilo of Colombian Bam Bam under the car. Time to be
This
a
is
man.
my favorite. That's probably one of my favorite sound clips all time. But yeah, Josh, do you know that Chris Hogan actually plays lacrosse?
Chris Hogan plays lacrosse? There's no chance.
I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, as far as my team goes, I mean.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
That's what I was looking for before.
That's the only quote to describe my team. And if I don't go undefeated this season, it is because some tomfoolery / injuries / cheating went down.
Ooh, are you calling out collusion this early in the league?
Collusion, yes.
Oh God.
But no, I'm happy with where my team's at now, and I know you have some highlights, and those are definitely the guys that I would highlight. I'm very happy with Deshaun Watson as my quarterback. Got him off you, thank you. I think I traded you Phillip Rivers and.
Well, yeah, you traded me for the draft pick. I didn't have Deshaun Watson. You traded me for the draft pick.
Yep, and so I took him with that. The only note on here worth reading is the only note you have, and that's I have a dog, in case you didn't know. Her name is Kaya. She's a white Siberian Husky. She's a bit of an ass. Moving on, we'll talk about Garlic. Like Garlic said about me, it doesn't make sense to have him spend a whole lot of time talking about himself, even though he loves to do it.
Because I'm fucking great.
And so I will do Garlic's profile. Year 1, he was the worst. And granted, that was with an auto draft team. And so he went 3-9-1. Ended up taking Mike Williams with the first overall pick in our first rookie draft. That didn't work out because Mike Williams did not play. But it somehow ended up making some wheels and deals, doing some things, and then his team performed to get him the 3rd seed and then the championship. I'm still going to say that the best addition he had was adding Garrett to actually provide some fantasy insight to his team. And so, Garlic, do you have anything to add? I know the only note on here that I have that I wrote was Garlic whews. And for those of you who don't know, whewing is kind of what you do when you whew.
Wheeling is indeed what you do when you wheel. And to stranger listeners, that won't make any sense, but to us, it makes sense, and that's all that matters. I really have nothing else to add. We already kind of profiled my players when we were talking about Garrett, because me and Garrett are co-owners of the same team. I'm really hoping we can just go back-to-back and take the championship this year, obviously, because then we'd make some sweet cash money on that deal. But, I'd like to think I've got a pretty decent team. I didn't score as many points as you did last year. I only had the second most points for. But, I don't know. Just go out there and try to do your best. If I don't make the playoffs, that's a travesty. But Todd Gurley, I think, got 40 points for like 2 or 3 weeks there in a row during the playoff stretch. And that's what made the difference for me, for sure. So shout out to Todd Gurley. I love you. He was my first-round draft pick in that auto-drafted draft. So... that's pretty much it for player profiles. I know we have a couple more pods planned here before the regular season begins, and we get to become a normal podcast, or a more normal podcast. I would probably
some more structured, probably not normal, just structured.
I would say I would not describe us as normal. I don't know how many people would either. So our next podcast, we're kind of going to go around the league and profile all the other teams in the league. Josh and I kind of assigned each other different divisions, and so we'll talk about that a lot. And then next Sunday morning, we're going to record just kind of a bonus podcast just for fun, just for practice. We have a league we're both in together through Reddit. We're just going to live podcast that draft just for fun. We'll talk about our draft picks and kind of our thought process as we go through the draft. And then we'll just kind of fill that draft will probably take like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So we'll just fill kind of the open time when we're not drafting with, whatever else we got. I don't know if we'll include it in this podcast or in another one. But I want to try and get a call in every week if I can, just so we can let other people in the league kind of talk for themselves. Obviously in the first podcast, we let Bradley talk. I'm hoping to get Kevin in this one or the next one, just so he can kind of introduce himself to everybody that hasn't met him yet. I don't really have anything else. Josh, you got anything else?
Yeah, okay, well, the Vikings are terrible.
God damn it.
Just going to close on that note. I have nothing else to add. I'm excited to see what happens. As Garlic mentioned, the next podcast is going to be, I think you mentioned profiling teams. We're profiling NFL teams, not fantasy teams. And so we're going to go through some notes that we took on the preseason kind of as a whole, add drops, trades, coaching changes if they're relevant. Try to have a little bit fun with it. Obviously, it's opinion-based. We're not diving into the weeds here to tell you the measurables of draft picks and the measurables of players on teams. We're gonna talk more about our favorites, bring up some different things that happened on teams, maybe preseason games that happened between now and then. That draft that we're talking about is going to be spent kind of going through the thought process, maybe making fun of some of the people that we've never met before. I know half the league is from Australia, and so it's going to be an early morning draft. Might have some bacon and eggs cooking.
Bacon and eggs sounds so fucking good.
Oh, baby girl.
So
on that note, I think it's time for dinner. I'm starving.
Oh, I think it is time for dinner. The only other note I wanted to add is, so we've got the 2 podcasts we talked about, and then one more. We'll record the Wednesday of the regular season. Like, we'll record Wednesday, and then Thursday will be the start of the regular season. That's going to be our big prediction podcast. Josh and I have been doing a bunch of work here behind the scenes. We went through and we actually predicted the whole NFL season, like all 16 games for all 32 teams. So that took some time. We didn't put a lot of thought into it. Don't think we're good, but we're going to spend a lot of time kind of predicting the season, who we'll see in the playoffs. Then it'll be something we can reference back to throughout the year as we podcast, and just kind of see what our thought process was at the beginning versus how it kind of turned out in reality. Josh, I'm assuming you have nothing else to say. Is that fair?
Absolutely not. Have a great night.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Josh. Podcast too, huh? Yeah, I mean your mic situation definitely isn't perfect yet. You definitely sounded better. Like, you sounded more natural. It wasn't more that loud whisper. It was more of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, so yeah. So you sounded like when you were talking, you sounded normal. I don't know. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but it just sounded like. I'll be able to describe it more maybe once I'm normal and stuff. I think she went not bad. Less humor in this one, at least from the soundboard, but I think